You know that moment when nothing dramatic happens, but somehow everything is different after? There is no big announcement, no loud breakdown, no clear turning points you can point to and say, that's when it all changed. Just a quiet shift, almost easy to miss. Most people don't notice it at first. They keep moving, they keep talking, keep doing what they have always done, but something underneath has already moved. And once it does, there's no going back. That moment usually shows up when you least expect it. You're living your normal life, you're following your routine, and suddenly you realize something doesn't feel the same anymore. The things that used to excite you don't hit as hard. The things you tolerated start feeling heavier, and the life you were okay with before doesn't quite fit now. Nothing exploded, nothing collapsed, but something quietly changed. At first, you might think it's just a bad week, or stress, or tiredness. You tell yourself to push through it, because that's what you've always done. You distract yourself, you stay busy, you scroll more, you talk less. You try to shake the feeling, but it stays. And that's when confusion creeps in, because from the outside everything looks fine. Your life still works, you're still functioning, still showing up, still doing what's expected. So why does it feel off? That question can mess with your head. It makes you doubt yourself, makes you wonder if you're ungrateful or dramatic, or just overthinking everything. You start comparing your life to others and telling yourself that you shouldn't feel this way. But here's what most people don't realize: that quiet discomfort isn't a problem, it's a signal. It shows up when the version of you that created your current life is no longer the version of you living in it. You didn't do anything wrong, you didn't fail, you grew. Growth just doesn't always feel like progress. Sometimes it feels like restlessness, like boredom mixed with anxiety, like being halfway between who you were and who you are becoming. That in between space is uncomfortable because there's no clear map for it. The old rules stop working, but the new ones haven't revealed themselves yet. And humans hate uncertainty, so the instinct is to rush, to make a big decision, burn everything down, to force clarity, or to do the opposite, ignore the feeling and hope it goes away. Both usually backfire, because the moment everything quietly changes isn't asking you to panic, it's asking you to pay attention. Pay attention to what drains you now. Pay attention to what you keep avoiding. Pay attention to what you're doing out of habit instead of meaning. Those are clues. This phase isn't loud because it's not about the outside yet. It's internal. It's the slow shift in priorities. The quiet realization that something you once wanted doesn't matter the same way anymore. And that can feel scary, because letting go of old goals feels like losing direction. So people hold on. They keep chasing things that don't excite them. They stay in situations they have outgrown. Not because they want to, but because it's familiar. Familiarity is powerful. It can keep you stuck in a life that no longer matches you, simply because it is known. The moment everything quietly changes is usually the moment you stop being able to lie to yourself. You notice excuses don't land the same, the distractions don't fully work, the "I will deal with it later" voice feels tired, and deep down, you know something needs to shift, even if you don't know what yet. That not knowing is frustrating because it's also honest. Clarity doesn't show up all at once. It builds slowly through awareness, through small choices, through moments where you choose alignment over comfort. And alignment doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it looks like saying no when you normally say yes. Sitting alone instead of staying busy. Letting yourself rest without guilt. Admitting you don't have all the answers. Those small acts create space, and space is where clarity grows. What keeps people stuck in this phase isn't confusion, it's resistance. Fighting the feeling instead of listening to it. Trying to go back to who they were instead of forward into who they are becoming. But you can't unsee what you have seen. Once something inside you shifts, pretending otherwise becomes exhausting. That's why this moment matters so much. It's not the end of something, it's the end of pretending that nothing needs to change. And no, you don't need to have everything figured out right now. Ask yourself simple questions. What feels heavy lately? What feels forced? What feels real? You don't have to act on every answer immediately. Awareness alone starts the process. The people who look like they found themselves didn't wake up one day with clarity. They listened during this quiet phase instead of running from it. They trusted that confusion wasn't weakness, it was transition. And slowly things started making sense again. Not because life got easier, but because they stopped living out of alignment. So, if you're in that space right now, where nothing is technically wrong, but nothing feels right either, don't rush to label it as a problem. It might be the moment everything quietly changes. And if this resonated, watch the next video on your screen.